Hey everyone, your go-to English podcast for learning English and changing your life. I'm Erin.
And I'm Evan. Whether you're on your morning walk, stuck in traffic, or just winding down after a long day, thank you for hitting play. Erin, how's your week been?
To be honest, I felt like I'm running on autopilot. Wake up, scroll, work, scroll again. And somewhere in the middle of it all, I started wondering, am I in control of my habits, or are my habits controlling me?
I hear you. And you know what? Science actually backs that up. By the time we're 35, 95% of our thoughts and behaviors are just unconscious habits. We become creatures of routine, thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same emotions, day after day.
Exactly. And that's why today's episode is going to be a game changer. We're talking about how to rewire your brain, not with magic or bursts of motivation, but with science, small, repeatable actions, and a whole lot of clarity. Because your brain isn't fixed, it's always changing.
And the best part? You can direct that change. Whether you want to get rid of negative thoughts, build new habits, learn English faster, or simply feel better, you don't need to wait for a crisis. You can start rewiring right now.
And there's a bonus. Throughout this episode, you'll be naturally exposed to idioms, phrasal verbs, powerful vocabulary, and whatnot. So while you're learning how to shift your mindset, you'll also be leveling up your English in the most organic and enjoyable way.
And hey, worry not. If something flies over your head, don't stress. Our brilliant Charlotte will be joining us at the end of the episode to break down all the tricky expressions and vocabulary we use today.
Plus, we've created a free downloadable PDF with comprehension and grammar exercises, key takeaways, and reflection prompts, so you can lock in everything you learn. You'll find the link in the description below.
So, if you're ready to break free from mental autopilot and become the architect of your own mind, stick around. This episode might just flip the switch you've been waiting for.
Let's get started. Because your brain is always changing. The real question is, are you in charge of the change?
All right, let's bust the biggest myth right off the bat. You are not hardwired. Your brain isn't some rigid machine that was programmed at birth and locked in forever.
Exactly. Think of your brain more like a living garden. Every thought you have, every behavior you repeat, every emotion you feel, it's like planting a seed. Some seeds grow into strong trees, like focus, confidence, or language skills. Others? They grow into weeds, like self-doubt, fear, or procrastination.
And this ability to change, it's backed by science. It's called neuroplasticity, which simply means your brain is always reshaping itself. Whether you realize it or not, your brain is adapting and rewiring every single day based on what you do, think, and feel.
And that's both exciting and a little scary, because it means if you're not actively guiding that change, it's still happening, just not in your favor. You're either consciously building a better garden or letting the weeds take over.
So, the big takeaway here? You're not stuck. You're sculptable. And the more intentional you are with your thoughts and actions, the more powerful your transformation becomes.
Beautifully said. And speaking of action, here's a hard truth. Waiting to feel motivated is one of the biggest traps. We all think, once I feel ready, I'll start. But neuroscience says the opposite is true. Action comes first. Motivation follows.
Yep, and your brain responds to action like this. Oh, you're actually doing something. This must be important. Let me rewire myself to support it.
It's like trying to start a campfire. You don't wait for warmth. You light the match first. Whether it's journaling, practicing English out loud, or starting a morning walk, you don't have to feel inspired to begin. You just have to start.
And once you do, your brain starts building new pathways, reinforcing that behavior and releasing those feel-good chemicals that make it easier the next time.
So the next time you think, I'm just not feeling it, flip the script. Remind yourself, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to act. And my brain will catch up.
Honestly, that's one of the most freeing mindset shifts. You're not a slave to your feelings. You can act your way into motivation. Every step forward is a signal to your brain that says, let's build this.
And speaking of building, let's talk about habits. Not just what you do, but who you become.
You've probably heard the phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together. That's not just a clever saying. It's brain science. Every time you repeat something, whether it's brushing your teeth or doubting yourself, your brain makes it easier to do again. That's how habits form.
Think of it like laying down train tracks. Every time you repeat a behavior, you're strengthening that track. Eventually, your brain says, this is the easiest route. I'm taking this path automatically.
Which is why even small habits matter. Repeating a habit, even for just 5 minutes a day, starts installing a kind of mental software. And over time, those small daily actions begin to sculpt your identity.
So if you want to become a fluent English speaker, a confident communicator, or a healthier version of yourself, you don't need a total life overhaul. You need daily repetition. Because the habits you repeat become who you are.
And the beautiful part is, you get to choose what you repeat. You're not a prisoner of your past patterns. You're the architect of your future ones.
Exactly. But here's the catch. You can't build anything if your attention is all over the place. That brings us to something most people underestimate. Your focus. Think of your attention like a spotlight. Whatever you shine it on, that's what gets built in your brain. If you focus on growth, learning, or solutions, your brain starts building strong pathways to support those things.
But if your attention is constantly jumping from one thing to another, scrolling endlessly, multitasking, living in distraction mode, your brain struggles to figure out what matters. It starts wiring for shallow thinking and scattered energy.
And that's not just a productivity issue, it's a wiring issue. Your brain literally changes based on what you focus on deeply and repeatedly. Focused attention sends the message, this is important. Let's build more of this.
So, if you want to rewire your mind, don't just consume content. Engage with it. Reflect on it. Go deeper. Because where your focus goes, your brain grows.
Which leads us to another hidden trap. Emotional loops. If you're not careful, they can either train your brain or trap you in the past.
Let's break this down. Emotions are powerful. They're like glue for memory and identity. But when we keep replaying the same emotional response, anger, guilt, sadness, it doesn't stay as a one-time thing.
Nope. It turns into a mood. If it lasts longer, it becomes a temperament. And if you carry it for months or years, it turns into a personality trait. That's how someone becomes the bitter one, or always anxious.
And here's the scary part. Your brain starts wiring around that emotion. So when something triggers you again, it's like hitting a shortcut to that feeling. You don't even think. It just fires.
But here's the good news. You can interrupt that pattern. It starts by shortening your emotional refractory period. In other words, don't let that emotional storm drag on.
Instead of stewing in it, pause, reflect, and redirect. Your emotional reaction doesn't have to become your identity. Because remember, emotions train your brain just like habits do.
And speaking of things that shape your brain, let's talk about stress. It gets a bad rap, but when used right, it's one of your greatest tools for growth.
Most people think stress is the villain, but not all stress is created equal. In fact, short-term controlled stress, like public speaking, cold showers, or intense workouts actually tells your brain, hey, this is important. Adapt to this.
Exactly. It's like going to the gym for your nervous system. These micro-challenges help your brain rewire faster and build resilience. But here's the key. Stress needs to be paired with recovery.
If you stay in emergency mode all the time, emails, deadlines, arguments, doom scrolling, that's when stress becomes toxic. Chronic stress without rest? That leads to burnout, fatigue, and even illness.
So think of stress like fire. In a fireplace, it warms your home. But left uncontrolled, it burns the whole place down. Use stress strategically, not reactively.
And remember, your brain responds to challenges, but it also needs silence, space, and recovery time to actually integrate what you've learned.
Which brings us to one of the most underrated tools for rewiring your brain: sleep.
Ah, yes. The one thing we all claim to love, but keep sacrificing like it's optional. But here's the deal. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's a biological necessity for brain transformation.
Totally. You can take all the right actions, build new habits, even embrace stress in healthy ways. But if you skip sleep, it's like planting a garden and never watering it. Nothing takes root.
That's because during deep sleep, your brain acts like a construction crew. It reinforces the strong neural pathways you use during the day, clears out mental clutter, and even prunes away the stuff that doesn't matter.
And it gets better. Even short naps or quiet reflection during the day can help your brain solidify what it's learning. But deep, uninterrupted sleep? That's when your brain really gets to work behind the scenes.
So, if you're trying to change your life, speak better English, or just feel more like yourself, don't just hustle all day. Honor your sleep. It's not laziness. It's biology at work.
Exactly. You can grind all you want, but real transformation happens when your brain has the space to settle, sort, and strengthen what you fed it. And that happens when you're off the clock and under the covers. That breakdown was super helpful. Just the kind of clarity we all need when learning English.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners, if this episode sparked something in you, don't just let it fade. Take what you've learned, start small, and keep going. Because your brain is already changing. You just have to guide it.
And remember, every time you repeat a habit, shift a thought, or practice English, you're not just learning a language, you're rewiring your identity.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like. We've got tons of exciting content coming your way.
Until next time, stay intentional, stay curious, and keep building the mind and voice you're proud of. See you in the next episode.
Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.